Niger lies on the southern edge of the Sahara Desert in Africa, landlocked between Nigeria to the south and Algeria to the north. It's one of the poorest countries in the world. Most people live in rural areas. They scrape a living off the land, herding livestock and growing the staple cereal, millet. There's just enough to eat, but there's a hidden hunger among almost all the women and young children, caused by iron deficiency anemia. It's an unseen problem that slowly steals away the body's strength and immunity to disease. Zalika was so severely anemic, she collapsed after she gave birth. She had to spend 2 weeks in hospital.
I was feeling dizzy and my body was dying. I couldn't stand up on my own.
Zalika's just one of the 2 billion people around the world who lack iron, an essential micronutrient. In Niger's rural areas, pregnant women rely on the knowledge of the village birth attendants, like Zenaba, to help them through childbirth. In Turikuki, as in most villages in the west of the country, 3/4 of the women are anemic. It's so common that there's a word for it in the local language. It's lack of blood. Zenaba knows many of the women she visits daily suffer from the problem, but there's only so much she can do.
I still have a pain in my stomach. I'm coughing and vomiting. I can't see and I can't hear well. I'm not eating. I can't taste anything.
Have you been to the hospital?
No. I went there when it first started, but I'm not getting any better.
Without enough iron in the diet, the body can't make red blood cells. In turn, there's not enough oxygen, causing dizziness and extreme tiredness. But even when anemia is severe, the only visible evidence is paleness.
I can't really tell if someone is actually anemic. You can't tell until they say they feel dizzy, their body aches and they feel exhausted. When you have all this, I've been told the eyes become white and you can be sure that there's a lack of blood. So ahead.
I do want to go to the hospital, but I don't have the money to go. I needed to feed and take care of the children. People like us who feed themselves day by day, how can they have enough to go to the hospital?
She hasn't been well since the baby was born. He was born when there was no food to eat, and we are struggling to feed ourselves day by day. We have no money to go to the hospital.
Niger's beleaguered health services don't reach most communities. This means supplies of donated iron supplements, distributed by the Ministry of Health, don't get to the women who really need them.
Iron deficiency needs a particular strategy because the dose isn't weekly, monthly, or quarterly. We have to give it every day, and it is very expensive. Also, the channels of distribution and the health coverage are both very weak, about 32 or 34%.
Helen Keller International works in Niger. They believe it's local midwives like Fadima who can play a vital role in supplying women with the extra iron they need. In the western district of Terra, Fadima has the responsibility for handing out iron folate tablets in her village.
Before we started, women were not feeling well. One day she would be standing, the next she wouldn't be able to get up. The women couldn't eat. They didn't have enough blood to make them healthy.